The game might be over, but we're just getting started. Welcome to the Todd Fox Postgame Podcast, your go-to spot for real, unfiltered Angels talk, win or lose, on the Halos in the Infield Network. You never know what's going to happen. Walk-offs, meltdowns, heroics, or straight-up typical Angels disasters. We're breaking it all down. Who stepped up and took home the Golden Stamos, the most prestigious award in baseball? And who embarrassed themselves so badly they're stuck with the dreaded Nacho Night Award? Drop your comments, call in, and sound off. We're reading them all. So like, share, subscribe, and buckle up, because this show pulls no punches. And yes, Anthony Rendon is still a fragile little bitch. Take it away, Todd.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome into another edition of the Halos in the Infield postgame show, the only postgame show that gives it to you real with no Vaseline on nights like this, where the Angels win. Angels win. Hell yeah, the Angels win on a crazy game in St. Louis that just went final 9-7. It took 11 innings. It did not go the conventional way. If you were talking about a game of two halves, if this were football, the first half was very not very boring, but it was kind of boring. I mean, you had a little struggle by the Angels offensively, and they weren't really getting it going, really not, the kind of at-bats that you'd want. But the Angels made adjustments, something that they hadn't done over the last couple seasons under any kind of management. And they got the job done tonight in front of you, in front of me. Welcome into the postgame show. We've got a lot to get to tonight, so stay with us. We will get to all your comments like we always do. This is the most interactive postgame show out there. Let us know how you feel. Tell us in the comments, and then if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. By the way, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel as we move forward. But tonight, the Angels win 9-7, and it felt like the starting pitchers for this game pitched 2 years ago because there was a lot of drama in it, and you really don't understand who was starting in this game. It was Levitor, Levitard, whoever, and versus Kyle Hendricks. And Hendricks put himself in a position tonight where he could have easily got that victory had the bullpen, did its job. And guess what? It did do its job. But there is someone who kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything, and we'll get into that as we move forward. So we'll talk about who scored and who did what tonight. And let's start off with the offense, the hitting, I should say. And the hitting did pretty good tonight. Again, you had contributions from just about everybody in the lineup, which is hard to say for the Angels. And again, we go back to it. I'm going to harp on it as we keep going, because just like I said last night, let's do it like Pete Carroll, one of my favorite coaches of all time, said. Let's go 1-0 today. And we went 1-0 today, and we're 4-1. We don't care about the 4-1. We care about going 1-0 today, and that's exactly what they did. We don't care how they did it, whether they won 1-0 or 101-100. We don't care. They got the W. As Angel fans. Dude, it's exciting. I know it's April. I know it's the first week of baseball, but I'm throwing all that out the window. Why? Because the Angels won tonight. So what happened tonight? We talked about, too, what the Angels needed to do to be successful, and that is don't throw more pitches than the opponent, and also don't strike out 10 or more times. Angels have a real shitty record with them doing that. So what do they do tonight? They only struck out 6 times. That's very good for a team that's missing Zach Neto and no Logan O'Hoppe out there. So Taylor Ward went 1 for 5. He had 2 Ks on the night. You had Louis Renifo. We'll get to him. Believe me. He went 2 for 5 with an RBI. And then you had Mike Trout get 2 RBIs on a huge double and a strikeout. Solaire's the only one that didn't provide any offense tonight. He went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Kyron Paris replaced him. And our good buddy Robert, who was paying for $200 worth of beer at our upcoming April 19th hoedown, showdown, throwdown tailgate over there at Brewheim. He's giving you guys free beer. He had an interesting take, and I'll throw the question out to you guys in the comments, guys and gals. Do you agree, if Kyron Paris was starting tonight, does this game even go to extra innings? That's what he wants to know. That's what I want to know, because if he's batting 4th tonight and not taken out of the lineup, because this reminds me of times where Mike Scioscia would be like, oh, this guy's blazing hot, let's bench him. And this was all analytics. Let's not get it twisted. Parrish should not have been taken out of the lineup. He's obviously your hottest hitter. And look what he did in the brief time that he was out there tonight. He scored 2 runs, just coming in, he scored a run. And then also he got that huge hit, which we'll talk about. Mancada got off the schneid with a big RBI double right there. He had a strikeout, but d'Arnaud had a hit tonight. You had Shonowell with a huge hit. We'll talk about that more. Joe Adell got a hit tonight, and Tim Anderson also provided a hit. Plus, he scored 2 runs. So all in all, you had a little bit of everything tonight. And again, we will talk about more what happened here on the field. But I'm telling you, the lineup looked good tonight. As far as the pitching's concerned, again, it felt like years ago when Kyle Hendricks got out there on the mound. But he pitched. What do you guys think of him in the comments? 6 innings pitched tonight, 2 runs, 7 hits. That's it. Yes, they did make a little more contact than we like at times, but he still gave you a quality start. 97 pitches, 65 of those were strikes, a 66% clip strikes to balls ratio. I'll take that any day from a veteran like Kyle Hendricks. Again, say what you want to say about this staff. Barry Enright, the analytics crew behind the Angels have elevated every pitcher on this staff because they are teaching them not to nibble, not to dick around on the outside the strike zone. Go after batters, trust your stuff. And some of these guys are elevating themselves. Now, I know it's one game also and one appearance for Mr. Ian Anderson. Were you shaking your head a little bit or kind of scratching your head trying to see why the Angels were going to Ian Anderson in the 7th inning? Well, they did. And again, for trading for Suarez, an Atlanta Brave told one of our staff members, hey, guess what? You guys got Ian Anderson. He sucks. And then Fernando, I think it was, said, hey, well, guess what? You got Suarez. He sucks. So trading trash for trash was the trade on paper. But so far, the first inning that Ian Anderson came out, he looked pretty dominant. Again, he's not going to do this every time. A guy with a 6 ERA, I get it. But when called upon, he came through. 2 strikeouts tonight through an inning. Ben Joyce, I think, is one of the tough luck losers tonight. Because Ben Joyce pitched an inning, he really should have got out of that inning with a hold. And we'll talk about that more. He only threw 15 pitches in that inning, but allowed that error really set him back right there. Kelly Jansen. Again, I'll talk about the bullpen tonight in more depth as we move along because I did not like the way they utilized this bullpen because I felt after Joyce gave up that run or the unearned run, whatever you want to call it, they shouldn't have went to Jansen as a closer. I think you save that for if you get the lead again in extra innings. You try to go with – I would have went with Zephyr John right there. But, and that's the other thing. Were you annoyed as much as me when hearing Wayne Randazzo over and over and over bring up the fact that Zephyr John had pitched two games in a row? Zephyr John threw 2 pitches the other day. That does not count as an appearance. Like, calm your ass down. He said it 7 times between the time that Zephyr John was warming up to the time he came in the game, and he was acting like pitching him a 3rd time would cause his arm to fall off. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, that is taught by the analytics of this team. For whatever reason, we've got to baby the shit out of these pitchers. That will be something that is just going to annoy me all year. So I will be touching on that all year. McDaniels came in, and my dad, I was watching the game with Papa Fox, and he came out and said, who's this guy? He sucks. I'm like, he pitched last night, Dad. And with rookies like this, you're going to have your speed bumps. You're going to have your times where they come out and they look amazing. You're like, boy, this guy's really good. And then the next night you're going to be like, this guy sucks. Well, that's just what you're going to get. When you rush a guy through the minors, when you get a guy from another team who should be in AAA on most squads and is up here in a high-pressure situation, you're going to sometimes get performances like this. He pitched good last night, but could he duplicate it tonight? Not really. Johnson, the same thing. He looked good last night, was a little rough tonight. I mean, he was leaving the pitches up in the zone. So McDaniels gave you a 1/3 of an inning, 3 runs, 1 hit, 2 walks, both earned. He only hit the strike zone 6 times out of 18. Then you had Johnson come in again. No pressure on the kid, right? Again, back-to-back times you're asking him to close it out, and he was lucky to get out of that situation to force it to another extra inning. So he pitched 18 pitches, 13 of which are strikes. Zephyr John came in there and said, dude, I'm freaking tired. Let's just end it. And he put the Cardinals to sleep. Scoring started like this in the second inning. Walker singled to center. Gorman scored. It was 1-0 St. Louis. Renifo then doubled deep to left field to get Anderson to score and Ward to third. It was 1-1. Then Mike Nelson Trout, from whatever city he's in, having too much sex with his wife, according to Todd Fox's husband. I'd see what happens when you try to do stuff off the cuff. Todd Fox's dad says that he has too much sex, and Trout doubled and said, stick this where the sun don't shine. And he had a double to score 2 runs to make it 3-1. Then Walker would homer to make it 3-2. Then Nootbaar, one of my favorite names in baseball, singled or scored on the throwing air, was 3-3. And that play sucked because Renifo had all kinds of time to get the ball to first base, to get it. He could have flipped it. He could have gotten Nolan Arenado because it was a good pitch. Maybe not the fastball that you would have liked to seen from Joyce, but it was a pitch way off the zone. And he just put the barrel on it, and it went hard enough out there to Renifo to kind of pull him to his right. And as he tried to flip the ball over to Joyce or throw the ball, instead of flipping it, he threw it behind Joyce, and that kind of screwed everything up. That killed Hendricks' win, and that killed the save situation for Jansen. But okay, so we get to the 10th inning as Jansen pitches scoreless ninth. Shonowell came up there and hit a rocket. And because of that extra win, as Fernando brought out, it just shaded away from the center fielder. 2 runs scored. You thought, dude, came through with a clutch hit. And Adele would single in a run. You thought game over, right? Because, you score 1 in extra innings in the top half. That's not enough. At worst, maybe you're tied. Or at best, you're tied with the team if the Cardinals come in there, because it's really hard to get off, that ghost runner out, without letting them score, So I was thinking, okay, 3-run cushion should be good enough. They could hit a 2-run homer and it wouldn't matter. However, Baker doubled to left. Scott would score at 6-5 right away after they had 2 men on. And then another run would score. Arenado a single to right field, but Johnson was able to get out of it to make it 6-6. But then you have 1 out. Because they wasted an out. Okay. Now, again, we nitpicked on Ron Washington with his bullpen use and going to Jansen early. This, I thought, was a suicide squeeze, but you could tell with Ward not coming down the line that was a thing by Renifo, where Renifo was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the infielders playing back, and I'm going to try to surprise people. Well, you surprised your team. You pissed off your manager. Look for Renifo to get benched tomorrow, in my opinion. But he bunted and popped out, and we're all thinking in the Fox household, God damn it, we're going to blow a game right here, right? So you bunted and you popped out to the catcher. All of a sudden, it's up to Kyrie Paris to come through. Paris falls down in the count 1-2. The pitcher gives him a slider, I believe, or a sinker on the outside corner. And guess what? He went to right field. He came through again. Kyron Paris is on fire. He's in fuego right now. He went to right field, and it was all of a sudden the Angels were up by a run. But then you had Mancada, who hasn't been doing much of anything. And he's been, defensively good, but he just hasn't gotten any luck. He took what the pitcher gave him, went to the outside, and just poked it down the line. 2 huge insurance runs come in. If those runs don't score, we're probably still playing. And it goes down the line. It's 9-6. It gets a little dicey as Johnson tried to close it out. He couldn't do it, but Zephyr John closes the door in a 9-7 win. And guess what? The rookie gets his first win. Zephyr John will pick up his first save. So wild game. The Angels did outpitch throw more pitches than the Cardinals by 10, 178 to 166, but they only struck out 6 times and they struck out 9 Cardinals. So with that being said, I think it's safe to say let's get into the hero of the game or the player of the game. Gee, I wonder who it is. And we will find out who gets the John Stamos Award for best player on the field. Now, like I said, this isn't May, this isn't June. We are in April. This is early April. This is April 1st of the baseball season. It's April Fool's Day. Did the Angels fool us with their offense? No, they're just playing good, and they just came alive at the right time. And Kyron Paris was instrumental in that. You have to give it up to the kid because, again, I think as Angels fans, whenever we saw the kids from 2000s, the early 2000s, your Benji Molinas, your Darren Erstads, your David Ecksteins, so on, come through this organization and make a difference from whether you saw them play with the 66ers or whatever affiliate it was to Salt Lake to get to the majors, Troy Gloss, who know, all these players, right? It was something special when they made it to the bigs, and then they started to contribute. Maybe it wasn't right away, but then they got going. We saw shades of Kyron Paris last year, and some people were like, "Oh, he's not ready yet. He's this, he's that," and there's people drawing conclusions, and that's fine because we're in a do-it-now like mentality. We all have short attention spans. We forget that baseball is mostly a game that you fail at. You're only successful if you're good 30% of the time. Most of the time, it's 20% of the time or just above that, right? So with that being said, to see a guy put in the effort to change his swing, to say, I love this game, I want to perform for the fans, for my team, and better myself, and put on a better performance for everybody watching and rooting on for me, my family, everything. What's not to love about Kyron Paris? What is not to love about that guy? And the fact that he comes out again after being benched, did he bitch or moan about it? No. He singles to right. He's clutch. He comes through. He's getting high five when he just goes in the game to pinch run. I mean, I'm so happy for the kid. I'm glowing. If I could glow, I could glow right now. I feel like I'm glowing. Maybe it's because the light didn't appear. I don't know. But I'm just so happy the fact that he came through again tonight, and we're able to continue to ride that Kyron Paris train. Let's keep it going. And he gets player of the game for the third night in a row, baby. Third night. I don't think we said that all last year of anybody getting the John Stamos Award 3 nights in a row. So kudos to Kyron Paris once again. And if you're on right now, we got a shit ton of people on. And if you're on right now, please like and subscribe and give us a heart. Give us a thumbs up wherever you're at. It really makes a difference, and we really appreciate you. Now we got to go to the GOAT of the game, and not in a good way. We have to go to whoever gets the Nacho Night Award, meaning it's Nacho Night out there on the baseball field. And I have a feeling I'm going to give it to an Angel again.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
And see, you know what? This one's kind of painful. Again, I like the dude. He's on our team. I like to give the Nacho Night to the opponents if I can on a nightly basis. Even if we were to lose a game, I'd like to do that. But I'm fair and balanced on the Heady post-game show. I don't hold back. And you know what? I give it to Wahhapi the other night for having the hat trick with 3 strikeouts and not moving any base runners. And it sucks because all in all, you take away these 2 mistakes. Renifo didn't have that bad of a night. He went 2 for 5 and scored a run. But it's what he did late in the game that really screwed things up. And you're like, well, you're too hard on the guy, Todd. That was a tough throw. I don't really think it was, because even Wayne Randazzo and Gooby, who like to always clean up for the hitters, pointed out that he had plenty of time. Nolan was still way back jogging his way to first base. Renifo could have easily turned his body to his left and flipped the ball if he wasn't safe or feeling safe, but he rushed it. Okay, so you made an error. That's fine. The Angels picked you up and scored those runs. But when they had to do it again and you had to move a base runner over, or you had to try to get an RBI because obviously the bunt or whatever he did, to get the runner over, you have a runner at third, a free base runner, and you go and you bunt. And again, the manager, it was plain as day, did not put that sign up. You did that on your own. So the Angels could have easily lost this game, and we could have been talking about Renifo being a huge dumbass for this one, but I'm not going to call him a dumbass, but I'm just going to say that wasn't the smartest things he did tonight. And again, players make errors. They'll make mistakes. It's like I told my dad, these young pitchers have the potential to be very, very good this year and pitch above what they're projected to do, but they also have nights where they can make mistakes. Renifo is a veteran. He's not a rookie. So, but he's still imperfect, an imperfect human being. So he's allowed to make mistakes. But that bunt is more than a mistake because you chose, good sir, to bunt when nobody told you to bunt. It's like when I played in single A baseball, and I actually, when I was in the Pirates organization, I'm not to brag or anything, but when I played, I took it upon myself one time in a single A game in Lynchburg to I thought I could steal a base. And the coaches and managers, again, this is way before analytics, they did not tell me to steal a base. I was not given a sign. I did not pick up on anything. And even if I did pick up on something, an abnormality, I can't even speak right now. But even if I picked up on something where I could steal a base to my advantage, I shouldn't have ran. It's not my choice to run. And I ran. And boy, oh boy, was I scolded by not only the bench coach, not only the manager, not only the hitting instructor, my own goddamn pitcher that day yelled at me in the dugout in front of everybody. And I didn't even have to ask if I was still in the game. Let's put it to you that way. Angels don't have the talent to remove players like that. I was the Renifo that night. That was not the smartest thing. So with that being said, this is what we do on here. We usually would play the Stukas, but we are behind on the Stukas. So take this for what it is. It's Spritz o'clock, baby, and that's the AM 830. And the Infinite 91 checks it in. He says he is spritzing, baby. So what that means is enjoy a drink on us. Enjoy a Spritz o'clock.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Enjoy that botanical spritz on us. Infinite 91 says, Spritz, baby. That was a close one, but we ripped off another one. James Cano says, back in my day, pitchers pitched back-to-back games all the time. Jonas says, what the fuck was that? Also, Lakers fan in Japan says last year's team would have lost 4-3 in the 10th. And again, this is back-to-back games, guys and gals, where they were actually taking advantage of the new rule. I mean, we weren't doing this last year. Carlos says, Kyron clutch, again, amazing. Also, Sapphire says, let's fucking go. Joshua says, McDaniels sucks ass. RT says, what a game. Nathan says, holy fuck, yes. Vetter says, we might make the playoffs 161-1. Slow your roll. Emilio says, Kyron Paris isn't having enough sex. You know what, Emilio? I think that's the truth right now. He's the opposite of Trout. Also, Kyron fucking Paris, baby. Jameson Bruce chimes in. Jesus says, we're so a real winning streak right now, or we're on a winning streak. And winning streak, what's that all about?
All right, you guys, let's listen up. We won a game yesterday.
We did.
We win one today. That's
Already
2
did.
in a row.
That's 3 in a row.
We win one tomorrow. That's called a winning streak.
That'll be 5 in a row. LV says 4-game winning streak. Is this real life? I don't know if we did that all last year. Andrew says, are we good? Eddie Perez says, Paris makes my honk hard. So we're honking again tonight. That's back-to-back nights. Everyone's honking. Dan Rio says, holy crap, anyone else need a drink a whole season of this? Take me to the ER. Light that baby up. Stukas, damn it. Marty says, we're so back. Paris is a key to being competitive. Tyler says, wait, what? Also, fired up for Friday, RTC says. Emilio says, gonna miss Angry Todd when we go 161-1. By the way, let me know in the comments, too, if you guys are making it there for the early red carpet and the game. Oh, my gosh, is it going to be fun on Friday when they lose the home opener like we know they are. LV says the season starts tonight. You know what? And he's saying this as we win.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Also, Tyler says, Todd, help. I'm starting to honk my honk. You know what? They have phone numbers for that, and also rehab. There you go. Also, Rally Chris checks in with Capitals. Angels are back, back-to-back series wins to start the season. 4-game winning streak. We're so back to the playoffs. My honk is oozing right now. Oh, my gosh. You better get some towels for that because that is a lot of honking. There you go. James Malou says, balls, and Kyron Paris yet again. And that's the thing, dude. It's getting exciting the way this guy is hitting, dude. He is really on it.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Kyron Paris, baby. Our Rye guy says, I still don't get why Ron didn't keep Jansen in the 10th with a lead. And you know what? He didn't throw that many pitches. He could have. I thought he misused the bullpen a little bit. Robert says, let's fucking go. Marty says, if you ain't grabbing your honk right now, you're not a real fan. He's grabbing his honk. The question is, he wants to know, are you? Also, right here, you got Jason Hess says, Q Lombardi, because what the hell is going on?
What the hell's going on out here?
First place in the West, Tamir 20. LV also says this team has some fight in them, and they are compared to last season so far. Ben says, great win, terrible managing by Wash. Jesus says, hey, that ball off Shonwell's bat flew off the Mac. One. There you go. Also, Eddie says, I'm honked up. Matty Matt says, I'm telling you, playoffs, here we come. Here we go. Also, Marty is not lying. When did the playoff tickets go on sale? Dude, I don't know, man, but we're winning. And
Wow, winning.
Yes, winning indeed. Ulysses says, you rarely see a team make so many mistakes and still win a game. Rep that halo. Kofi says, 4-1 never felt so good. Paris needs to start. Steve Elise checks in with, I feel very annoyed by you and your dad. She has to put up with our yelling. That's what it is. Manny310 on TikTok says, what happened to the chat? You have to come over here to YouTube where everyone can see your comments. Marty says, Wash looks like a homeless bum living behind a dumpster. That's kind of wrong, Marty. John Stamos honk right there for Iron Giant. Silent E says, you were faster than the UCLA basement boy tonight. He's I bet he's a Dodger dog anyway. You know he's a Dodger dog. You know his grandma's paying his rent. That's for damn sure. Jesus says, the King Kong donger to big game Paris. Absolutely. Eddie, Angels in 7. Right guy says, this butt clinching games are making my ass hurt. They do have cream for that, my friend. Rally says, I've seen enough. I need a custom Paris jersey, Todd. Rookie of the year right here. Book it. Oh, come on. We're 5 games in. We won 4 in a row. Q Lombardi, baby, because Lombardi was like, he's still thrown off by what's going on.
What the hell's going on out here?
Jason Hess says Marcia can't even fix Ward's limp noodle, and he's referring to that arm, dude. That arm strength is not there for Ward. That is concerning if there's a runner on base. Carlos says Shonwell almost cost us, but he made up for it with that triple. He sure did. Saucy says, I thought for sure we were going to angel their way out of this win. Mike Trout says, we're so back, baby. Ron also checks in with, I'm better than philosophy. Halos Forever says, I hate that semi shirt. Like semi shirt. Which semi is that? Also, Demetrius says 4-1 somewhere. Big 20 is having sex. Maybe that was a ripple in the time frame right there. Rye Guy says I was screaming at the TV when Renifo tried to bunt. I was too, dude. I was like, what the was that? James Malou says, look at all those runs. Q FanDuel. And by the way, thank you, James Malou. You straight up reminded me right away. What have they been talking about since day one of FanDuel / Bally's? It was always about the home run, right? Everything was home run. Wasn't that nice, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen watching tonight? Just getting hits, manufacturing runs, dudes flying around the bases, station to station, or taking an extra base, stealing a base. That's Angels baseball. That is fun. Not, oh, we got to swing for the fences, baby. No, it doesn't always have to be that way. And look how much fun that was. Bally/FanDuels disagree. That was a disagree right there. Rally Chris says Astros lost again to the Mariners, or they are 2-3. Mariners are losing 3-0, about to be 2-4. Marty says, hell no, game over. Paris started. If he does play. Q Bally's Eddie Perez. Let's play. There you go. Also, you have on here, Jason Hess says, not every team is going to let us come back like we did. I'll take it, though. 1-0. Rangers lost again. First place, Big 20 says. MLA says, he's going to make me talk Spanish. I hate you. Veda a Verga. No pinches mama's way. This is causing too much emotional damage, but we won way. My girl's going to kill me. I swear to God, she's going to kill me. But it is costing us some emotional damage, man, when we're trying to stay in this game.
Emotional damage.
Exactly. Emilio says, before we get too excited, we went 4-2 forced homestand last year. That is true. Also, Nathan27 says, it's Paris time. Rangers won Big 20. Rye Guy says, let's go for the sweep and hopefully don't get fucked by in the Kikuchi. There's going to be a lot of Coochie talk this year. Love Kyle tonight. I did too. He pitched pretty good. James Malou says, this team has dog in them. RT says, if KP isn't in the lineup Friday, we chant we want Paris. I have to agree. Hendricks was solid tonight. Robert says the professor is back. He's nice, especially with the flamethrower throwers we have in the pen. If paired well, it does throw off timing. Dugout Talk says, Joe Adell, you're fucking out. Kyron Paris, you are Kenny Power in Kenny Powers' voice. You are in. Marty says, I blame the analytical nerd for not starting Paris. Every day is an improvement. Every day there's improvement is super. Big 20 also says everyone is losing in our division tonight except the Rangers, and we're still in first place. And oh yeah. ML says, is so many years I haven't seen the Vatos have fight in them. Yeah, these Vatos haven't really, so it's good to see. Go Angels, Daniel says. Also, Dugout Talk says they're not losing easy either. They're putting in the work and showing out. Rye Guy says Johnson giving Donnelly vibes. I like that. Also, Jason Hess, Shonowell for nachos. Despite this clutch hit, he doesn't make that error, and we end the game in the ninth inning. Oh, that's right. Why am I? Oh, my God. And see, I gave the nachos to Renifo. I'm just realizing it right now. I just made a super error, and being behind in the comments, I did make a super error. I almost have to take that one off the board. It was Sean. Oops. You know what? Just for the hell of it, we're going to give the nachos to Randazzo for mentioning it 3 times. Yeah, we're going to do that for mentioning Zephyr John over and over and over. Yeah, so my apologies, Louis Renifo. My apologies. And you know what? I'm not going to give it to Shonowell, although it was close because he did have that triple. So, man, why was I was thinking it was Renifo. So that is totally on me. Thanks for that catch, by the way. But Soler went for 0 for 4 and he wins. Also, Wu says, what if we go on a long winning streak? Will you be impressed? Yes, I would. I would. Anything better than what they've done, yes. St. Louis flapping their arms like the movie against the Angels or doomed them. Yeah, they were kind of mocking us there. Rye Guy says the toxic player is gone and the clubhouse is vibing. London checks in with this year's Angels are giving me hope, but how long before they take this hope away from us? Like I said, one game at a time, one motherfucking game at a time, and hopefully, just hopefully, this team can ball out and show us something because so far they are. Silent E says the whole time Burke was out there screaming, where's Jansen? But he pitched 2 in a row 2 days ago. The babying really needs to stop. It's too early in the season for this. I agree. Also, wasn't that Nolan that threw the ball away? Yes. Also, we are playing decent baseball, Dugout Talk says. Shonowell's error was the domino effect. Oscar says, guys have been showing great heart. Awesome game. Go Halos. Green Kid checks in with the Heart Attack Angels are 4-1 on 4-1. You see what he did there? Chubb says, just rewatched Nolan's triple. The energy after sliding into third. Need that energy all year, baby. Also, random thought, we should have signed Zach Jansen to a minor league deal. 2.86 ERA with 73 career games pitched. Hated facing him with Oakland. If he's still a free agent, that's got to be a Perry pickup. Steve Elise says, did they win again without a home run? Yes, they did, Steve Elise. Yes, they did. Crazy to think about, right? Gonna send Trout to Judge's hitting coach. Paris' secret right there, Robert says. Also, Paris is better at getting a standing ovation at the home opener. Are you better? Yes, he better, because he's played really good. You're glowing. Maybe you're pregnant. I could be. Hayes says Paris with a hat trick. Oscar says, hello, everybody. We're so back. Dan says, man, get pregnant now, according to the lunatics. Dugout Talk saying fire. My honk is spritzing. So Saucy has joined in the honkapalooza because we all got emotional damage thinking about everyone honking.
Emotional damage.
Actually, it more sounds like this first. That's the after effect. Silent E says, baseball is a game of failure. Failures don't define you as much as success. Fans will remember the times you came through as well as the times you failed big. Routine failures are just routine. And that is true. Green says the no phone policy starting to show some legitimacy, to be honest. Oh, I see. Salvador Lopez says Moncada came up clutch too. Also, Dugout says, we are back from hell and fire. This team, Sega boy, loves it. He says 2002 vibes. Brian says, Todd, do you remember 1 to 2 years ago when you couldn't even pronounce Kyron Paris's name? How have times have changed? Yes, I began to read books, and I've began to try to master the English language, even though I slaughter it more times than not. I appreciate you picking up on my English getting a little bit better, because God knows I can't speak Spanish. Omega Man says, I can't stand Shonawell. Also, Ray Ochoa says, that was Nolan Shonawell who made that play in the 3-4. Yeah, that was my fault. Also, what's up, fuckers? This what a team dub. Sega Boy says, Todd live from Marsha's bedroom basement. Also, Steve Lee says, not going to call him a dumbass right after he calls him a dumbass. Oh, baby. If you weren't my girl, I'd be pretty pissed. Single A, well, yes, I was single A. Also, Jay says, keep the dubs coming. Also, Jack Lee says, but we're 4-1. I mean, we're going to enjoy it while it lasts. Also, use the code HEATY. Yes, use the code HEATY at 714 Tickets and get your 15% discount and a 10% back on your next purchase. Also, Todd reminiscing on his short-lived career in the Pirates organization. Yes. That is my claim to fame. You know what? So sue me. Jay says Artie Face kills the spritz. Watch by the All-Star break. We're going to be 32-20 and trade these guys away. My math may not be right there. It's not. Ron Washington says, I'm pissed off at Renifo for that. I did not have him bunt. If he would have lost the game, he would have heard from me in the locker room. Also, Dan says, I think Artie is having a stroke in your spritz thing. Also, Todd has a gym. What? Also, Todd has a gym. Tommy like build Papa Fox. Hey, shut up, man. Albert says, Artie, where you at? Another Halo W. Lee checks in with. Saucy says, maybe if Kyron plays a little better, he can make it that lineup every day. Demetrius says, every time we win 3 in a row, it feels like 2002. Everyone shut the fuck up. And Nathan 27 says, you know what? I'm just going to bust it out right here, right now. Also, kudos to Ryan Johnson. I believe he's in first for Rookie of the Year. Jason says, Artie up in the press box like the woman owner of the major leagues. I agree. Todd, I will see you at opening day. I will see you there as well. Dusty Spins checks in with, I'm glad to see us winning, but you ain't sucking me in until I see the enthusiasm and winning attitude by the All-Star break. I agree, but, you know, it's a wait-and-see attitude for a lot of Angel fans, and it's not a bad thing. I rather see the fans enjoy themselves that have stuck around with the team since day one, and then when it gets there, pick up some bandwagoners on the side or some returning fans. This team has done a lot in the last few years to push us away. So the fact that they're having some success to start the season, why the hell not enjoy it for right now? That's all I got to say about that. If Johnson or Moore win Rookie of the Year, we get a draft pick. Also, Vetter says, I'm going to try to show up at 10 a.m. for the red carpet and grab a good spot for AM 830 booth. Please, Vetter, if you do, let me know because I will be there sometime around 11 o'clock. Dan Rio says the winning is making me horny and me love you long time. And I think he's referring to Roger Lodge getting a little steamy.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny and me love you long time.
There you go. Shauna Well had the air, not Renifo. Yes, you guys have put that on me. Also, Coochie Man getting us for the sweep tomorrow. Also, Sega Boy says, rumor has it that Ipe is locked up in the celly with Big Bubba gambling, rolling dice, and playing cards. Courtney, our girl, checks in with, I honestly have no idea what's happening right now, but enjoy it while I am enjoying it while I can. And that's the way we got to take this, one game at a time. 90% of the earth is covered by water. The rest are... Don't start with that squid stuff. I don't want to hear that squid stuff. Mario checks in with Marty. I grab my honk and some white... You see, sometimes it happens where I do the Ron Burgundy, where I don't proofread the comment, and yeah, he gone. Also, right there, James says, I don't mind the veterans, but they ultimately have to pass the baton and let these young guys shine and win. Well, if they keep pushing on the door, they got to get out the way. Sega says, who's going to their replica big Death Star? Once again, Arturo reeling me in with the drone shows and Death Stars. Well, I'll be there too. Ryan Gosling checks in with DFA McDaniels. Rule 5 draft picks never pan out. Vetter says he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year. Manuel checks in with fuck the Dodgers. Boy, I love that comment. Also, Landon Hoyt says Angels are going to win the World Series. Slow your roll. Sega Boy says Ward needs to hit the weights, bruh. Marty also says Paris wins the car at the All-Star game. Book it. Eric Walls checks in with dang 4 in a row. Lou Brown, who you got? Mario also says, I thought in the 10th we blew it. What a comeback. Q Lombardi. I think a lot of us gave up at that point. Or not gave up, but we're not feeling really good. What the hell's going on out here? I loved it, man. I really did. I can't wait till we come home and hear that. Jason Hess says, so many honkers in here makes the city of industry on Dollar Night look bad. Mario says, hope the Angels show up for the home opener. That's the big question. Can they? Halo says, I meant shift. Landon says, my honk is so hard. That's jeez. Salvador says, Todd, could Paris realistically win Rookie of the Year? Yes, he can, because he didn't have enough at bats last year. So if he plays a full season, if he gets about a good 400 at bats, I think at least he will be eligible for Rookie of the Year. So we're a long way away from that, but it can happen. First, the Big Dong Award. Now we need the Coochie Award. Hey, that's not a bad idea. The Angels are crappy or scrappy. Ocean View. The Angels are scrappy. Eric Ward says, Kyron fucking Paris. Play the kid, Ron. Note to Ron. Johnny says, gotta stop with these stupid airs, though. Emilio says, hey, Todd, me and Vetter want to know if you're going to the red carpet. I will be there, Emilio. Nope, I think Nacho Award goes for Todd, thinking it's Renifo. Hey, shut your mouth, Rally. The Angels are winning the World Series in 2002. Yes, on Bally's replay. Also, let's freaking go. Angels shock the world. Ricky Fax likes that. Also, Mario says, bring back Dick Enberg, Wayne, and Gooby suck. Also, Ryan Gosling says, too many honks in the chat. Let's take it game by game. That's what we got to do. Also, Cardinals doing the Halo wave did bite their ass. Omega says, is there a point to having Nolan? At this point, according to my dad, no. Because he prefers a power-hitting first baseman. And the Angels have most of my adulthood have had a power-hitting first baseman, except when they experimented with Darren Erstad over there at first for a while. So we'll see what happens, man. That is definitely a spot where he's, I do value hits. I don't care if he's batting around 280, 290. I'll take that any day over a guy batting 200 with, a bunch of home runs. If he's producing and getting on base, I'll take it. But his defense has got to get better. And I killed Renifo earlier, and it was really him. Let's see. Also, Atlanta is 4-1. That's a winning record. Suck it, Dodger fans. Brett says great mix of youngins and vets. Great redemption hit for for Shonowell. Yes. Jay says small ball is more exciting than dingers, but best believe it's coming through Trout. He hit better tonight, and he just missed one. These games are building toughness and character. Halos, baby, let's fucking go. And I'd like to see them carry this over into next season. Eric says, I can see tomorrow night, we'll have a co-host who is in the season starts tonight, April Fool's, one and all. Yes, because he's going to be asking for this guy.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
We sure do. Dan says, you read books, the rainbow ones or the pop-up ones? The pop-up ones. Omega says, honest question, can Shonowell be let go? Can't there be a better first baseman? Please explain. Now, against all analytics, he does not fit the mold, Omega. And he is a guy that, again, could be expendable in the future, but for right now, he's an important piece of this team. And I think moving forward, he could be a guy that you can replace for the right dude in free agency. But with everything going on pre-strike and renegotiations with the Players Association, I don't think Shonowell's going anywhere. He's still got a lot of value to this team, and I think he's only going to get better. But if you're to ask Artie Moreno and Angels brass and analytics, they really don't like the fact that he's not a power hitter. And you'd like to move him to another position, but where? You really can't put him in the outfield. He doesn't have outfield experience, and your outfield is already packed. And then who are you going to put at first base? They'd have to come up with a nice trade if they're in. See, I can see them trading away, a guy like him for a Rafael Devers and placing Devers at first base or someone like that, or even trading for like a Nolan Arenado, Nolan for Nolan later in the season. But that big contract is scary. Our fearless leader, our owner does not want to take on big salaries at this point until they get a real TV deal. And also the Players Association and the whole strike thing is pushed by the wayside because a lot of these baseball owners want to get the power back from the players. Right now, just like in the NBA, the power is to the players. Eddie says, I'm over here stroking my honk. So he just wants to let everybody know that if if you go to his door and you hear this, chances are you don't want to open that door and venture in. Jack Lee says, I can't wait to see the Neto, Paris, Moore lineup someday soon. I'd say you see that later on in the season. Okay, Pinche Jugaso, let's go Halos. El Canelo is trying to get me to talk Spanish. And thank you. Boo Boo Bear's mama comes through again with a super sticker. She is lighting it up, baby. Silent E says, use the Hedico on Underdog Sports to bet over times that Roger Lodge spritzes his honk in the press box this season and bet the over on Trout having sex this year. And speaking of, as you just transitioned me into this, because, again, I forgot to play this earlier, but this is our little ad right here for Underdog.
Hey, Todd, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Underdog app sponsored by Halos in the Infield. Actually, you can punch in HITI and get the promo code 20% earnings on your first bet via Underdog, the app. And also, they match 50% up to $1,000 winnings if you place bets. You can put them on players. You can put it on teams. It's a nightly thing. It's so easy to play, but also gamble responsibly. All because of Halos in the Infield and Underdog, the app.
So Ricky also says, what do you call a dog with no hind legs and meatballs? Sparky. Oh, jeez. Mario says, enjoy while we can, despite the hate and incompetence of the ownership. Exactly. Ignore that guy. Jay says, does anyone know when the gates open early? I'm planning on getting there at 12 opening day under the A and he leads. Well, Jay, let's put it to you this way. The boys are going to be there at 10. I'm going to try to be there by 11. There's going to be a hell of a lot of fans down there. I will see anybody who wants to come up. I'm not going to be in the clown outfit. I will be in the clown outfit the second homestand, but I will be in my Todd Fox jersey. So if you want to come by, say hi. I'll be doing interviews with fans and also players. Chubb says, Marsha's honk got to be the size of a Mack truck horn. Boo Bear's mommy says, I have a really bad service right now, so I hope you're getting it. Well, I did, and I appreciate that, Boo Bear's mommy. Eric says, if Artie was Rachel Phelps, we can all talk about that, LOL. Also, it's 714 time, PS3 says. Saucy says, Ben Joyce is still eligible for Rookie of the Year. Hopefully he earns some votes. Also, I think my white sauce hit Erica Weston's eye. Oh boy, that's going to be an infection, if anything. That's a lot of. Exactly. Also, yes, I did get your message, Boo Boo Bear's mommy. Hey, Todd, they are starting a Paris standing ovation for the home opener. I like that, actually. Also, Mike Trout says, I need Artie Albert after the game at Kalo's, I guess that's how you pronounce it, nightclub in Fullerton after Saturday's game. Jameson Bruce says, who are we taking in the second pick? Jamie Arnold. Maybe, because look, I've said it before on our podcast, it is going to be the most important draft in Angels history with an amount of number twos or the number 2 pick in each round. You can clean up. I know a lot of people say it's what you do in the later rounds, but yeah, you got to find some diamonds in the rough. They can't be drafting 20 pitchers. Rally Chris says, I'm honking my honk. Oh my gosh, that the end of the playoff drought is this year. So again, we're up to like 10 honks. A lot of crispy socks. Also says, fuck, I thought this was locked on. No, if this was locked on, you'd be sleeping like Artie Moreno. You'd definitely be sleeping. Dan says, any update on Stukas? Can we just queue up the old ones? Sometimes less is more. I don't have it on here. We not deleted it, but we took it off the program. So I'm hoping we'll have the Stukas for tomorrow, especially if the Angels sweep. They damn well deserve it. Let's keep it one game at a time, one bat at a time, one pitch at a time. I love that, Boo Boo Bears mommy. Also, that's why I left the Cardinals for the Angels, Albert Pujols says. Trade Ward or Trout right there. Dan, how dare you? Ryan says, hard to even check our analytics when we only have 2 on our staff. Also, Chubb says, say the Angels just get just below 500 or 500 this season. Vlad Jr. a possibility. That could be. And yes, I would love that because he would fit in here and that'd be a legacy pick right there. Nolan for Vladdy. Ben says Angel Stadium failed the city's audit. They said that there are $1 million worth of repairs that need to be done. And you know what's funny about that, Ben? Didn't Artie Moreno, when he was bitching and moaning how he's going to lose about a good, I think it's 10 to 50 million this year. He said, I have to put in that article. He said, I have to put, or no, wait, let me talk Artie Moreno. I have to put $5 million into the stadium because he has that real bad lisp. And he's talking about putting $5 million into the stadium of upkeep. I'm like, where? Where did he put the $5 million? When we went the other day, I just noticed a new coat of paint. That's about it. That's not $5 million worth of paint. Also, everyone honking their honk for Vladdy right there. Also, what do you record that, or when did you record that underdog ad with? A potato Minecraft? Anybody? Ha ha ha. That was on an iPhone. Hey everybody, what a fucking win. Grillmaster's happy about that. Jay says, you never told me the gate fox, man. So is 12 too late to secure a spot under the A? Yes, it is. You have to go a little bit earlier than that. I'd say 10:30, 11 o'clock, and you'd go through either the I want to say the what's the Golden Road side or the main entrance. Last time it was weird when they had the thing down there. We went through the Golden Road side. The main entrance off State College was closed. That was kind of weird. So I would try to go through. I mean, you could call tomorrow. I mean, they're open till 5 o'clock. I would call just to check. Crispy Socks. Cue the song. I don't even think we have that song anymore. Juan says, when does the season start, Mr. Lodge? Well, you know what? It starts very soon, and it might have already started, but just in case we need to know, as I'm stalling right here to find the one I want to put, I think it's, we'll play the long one.
Anymore. I just can't. And they can fire me if they want, but I can't sit around and listen to negative phone call after negative phone call. If you're a so-called Angel fan, if you're a Halo honk for life like me, then shut up with Sosha's got to go. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. Forget it. Let it go. We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight. If you don't want to say anything positive here this afternoon, stay off of my phone lines. The Angels.
That is the great Roger Lodge being a little bitch. Because, again, the other day, someone forwarded me some audio of him, and I gotta break it up into some clips. There's a lot of juicy clips I can make him say some funny things. But he came on AM 830, and he was asking before the season, started, obviously. He said, what do you think the Angels' record is going to be? I think they're going to win 91 games. Everyone laughed his ass off. He said he's going to take 2 full segments of phone calls. And the first 2 people just laughed at him and said they were going to be 60 wins or 70, and he went into Lakers basketball. So that's vintage, and I mean vintage Roger Lodge. He does not know how to adjust. No homers needed again, Grillmaster says. Is this a testament of good hitting, proper coaching, or accurate analytics? It's too early to tell, but I like it. That's all I can say. I mean, it's really too early to tell. Mario says, Wayne and Gooby made excuses for Trout's misplay early in the game. I think it's going to take a while for him to adjust in right field. Your thoughts? I will say this, Mario, that you are very, 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 very correct when it comes to that assessment. It's going to take him some time. Even those fly balls that were hit towards the warning track, but on the right side, almost foul territory, you were kind of like holding your breath, like, oh, man, I hope he doesn't run into the wall. Oh, my God, I hope he catches the ball. Like, is he taking the right path? Because in all actuality, Taylor Ward, Jason Hess texted me. He's like, wow, what a terrible route to that ball. You know, the inexperienced one, take away that play in the first inning or second inning, whatever inning it was that Trout made that misplay. If you take that play away, he played really good in right field. The throw home was great, everything, right? Taylor Ward took the dumbest move during the night. I don't know if it was his ears flapping like Dumbo where it was slowing him down, but that was a terrible route. And you would expect that from Mike Trout, moving positions after playing one position his entire career. You wouldn't expect that from Taylor Ward, who's been in the outfield for over 4 years as a left fielder, to take that type of route to the ball. Tyler says, hey, check out the Lock on Postgame. Screw those guys. Also, Mike Trout says, I don't like Ohtani anymore. I don't blame you. Also, Grillmaster says, Mike Trout had a hit with man on base. Q Lombardi. Yeah, he did it again, yesterday and then today. I mean, you can't really knock the dude.
What the hell's going on out here?
It's pretty cocky. I want balls and John Stamos.
I don't know why I played that one, but I just felt like it by accident. Let's see. Also, let's get back here. Landon says, can't wait to see you at the games, Todd. Can't wait to see you there. Sapphire says, let's fucking go, brother. You tell McDaniels was nervous. For some reason, it looked like he saw a ghost or something. What could have been? I don't know, man. It's, again, that's what you get when you put these youngsters out here, but I'm not sweating it. It's not that bad. These guys need to be thrown in the fire and they need to learn. I just wouldn't have pitched Jansen so early in the game. Now, on opening day, obviously, since things changed up and we had a tailgate set for Noble, we scrapped that. We're now at Bruheim on April 19th, where, again, if we're going to put these shirts up come Thursday, where you can purchase yours on Shopify. Let me take this comment down here real quick. You can get this nice, beautiful Halos in the Infield shirt with a small logo on the front and the big logo, if I don't screw this up, on the back. And this is going to be April's shirt. We're going to have a shirt for May, June, and July. We're going to sell these all year, but we're going to start them in April. We're going to have a new one in May, and so on as the season goes on, as the season starts. But the reason why I bring that up is on April 19th, you can get these shirts there. And like I said, you can buy them. But there was another reason why I was bringing that up, and that is I need a tailgate to go to. Outside of, we have the opener. We're going to be at the red carpet, but the red carpet only goes so long, and the players are only going to be out there for so long. I heard Robert was telling me, most of the good players come between 12 and 2, and then, your secondary players, your dumb interviews with Roger take place from 3 to 4. So there's really not much going on the last hour. So the reason why I bring that up is I don't have a tailgate anymore to go to. I will be floundering around there for a while. But if you guys want to invite me to the tailgate to hang out, I will gladly hang out, drink a beer. Just tell me what to bring. I'll add to your tailgate. Hit me up in the comments or hit me up at Halos in the Infield podcast at yahoo.com. and we'll have some of our crew there. Big Game James from the Around the League show will be there. I'm pretty sure Dominique will be there. So, and Robert will be there, so we can make it a big, a small little thing. We can infiltrate your little tailgate. So just throwing that out there. There's nothing wrong with Angel fans partying with other Angel fans, man, because usually we're the ones inviting. But maybe you guys can flip it on us and invite us, since we don't have a tailgate. We didn't set one up for opening day, but we do have one on April 19th where you are the guests. And you can come and enjoy, especially if you get there early about 2 o'clock when it starts, free beer. Thanks to Robert, because he's putting out the money for you to drink at Brewheim for free, at least the first round. And we're going to have some food and giveaways. It's going to be fun. Bring the whole fucking family. It's going to be fun. Rally Chris says, shit, the Dodgers are about to win their 7th straight game. Braves are about to be 0-6. Dude, I literally don't care, bro. Like, and it's no offense, Rally Chris. I'm trying to just throw myself away from the Dodgers. I don't care about them anymore. They won a legit World Series last year. They're paying for one this year. It's just let it go, man. Let's just enjoy our team, man. Screw those jerks. I can't stand them, but it is what it is. I'd rather not bring myself down, especially when the Angels are playing like this. Let us have our World Series right now. Maybe it's right now in April. Sapphire says, also, what do you think about trading Rendon and Moncada for Hernando? Nobody will touch Rendon. Not even the Savannah Bananas. Ryan Gosling says, 7-1 tickets. 7-1 tickets. Also, Sapphire says, and then they get Vladdy Jr. and some pitching, and then we'll be a playoff team. And see, this is what I'm talking about. If this team can get to my prediction of 81 wins, so far we're 77 away. If we can get to 81 wins, that's called a stepping stone season. That means they won 63 games last year. If they improve 18 games, the law of averages, if you add a free agent or two, some other guys, hit their peaks, or they're starting to hit their peaks. Young guys are another year under their belt. You add a few other pitchers, you know what I mean? There's not much to add to the soup. It's already coming to fruition. It's already So what I mean is this could be a stepping stone season to get themselves back into the playoffs. Not this year, but next year. And I'm all for that. I think that could be something down the line. Mario says, I expect Taylor Ward always sucking when he plays outfield. Tyler says, Todd is the 3rd Super Halo brother, but he's a straight one. See, we're vibing, Tyler. We're vibing. Ron says, I should have left Jansen in the game. Yeah, you should have. Jay says, I wish they had the Angels Fest like they used to when Social was the manager. That was a badass experience. That fiesta is weak as fuck and disrespectful to the Raza and the Latino Halo fans. Just saying, dog. No mames, Artie. I don't speak for you people. You people are good people, and you're part of the fan base, just like my people and everyone else's people, no matter what you identify as. But yes, that is very, very bad. I feel for you. I mean, the only thing more disrespectful that he could have did is bring some Taco Bell or something in a Del Taco. I mean, I don't get that fiesta thing either. They should have just kept the fan fest. The Padres have one, and it's awesome. Steve Lee says, one day you're going to listen to me and wear that shirt. Oh, I should have. Jay says, how much for that shirt, Fox? 25. We're going to go 25 on those, as they are good quality. They're not a Gildan shirt that we used to have before, and they're actually screen printed. So it's a good price because it helps the page. We are a page that goes on private funds. We don't get really, much at all, or get paid much from the sponsors. It's sort of a scratching back kind of thing. We scratch yours, you scratch ours. So we are trying to get ourselves out of the red and have more tailgates. And the shirts and other things that we do allow us to have those giveaways to give back to you, allow us to pay for that beer, allow us to do a lot of things to bring this community together and bring our community together, bring our fans together, so we can tip a beer to each other and have some spritz o'clock live and in person, right? Silent E says, Artie is an eternal dumbass who should have sold the team when he had Ohtani and getting $3 to $4 billion offers. If you don't want to fix this shit, then let it go and let your profits already go. The problem is he's too rich, Silent E, and it doesn't come to his pocket anymore. What it comes down to, why Artie hasn't sold and why he never will sell, it's ego. He wants to prove everybody wrong. He wants to win. He bought this damn team for $183 million. Yeah, he's gotten a lot of profit. Hey, Grillmaster under the big A right there. Mario says, Grillmaster says, I'm ready for a tailgate. He does have some really good salsa and guacamole. Just saying. Pico salsa and tacos on the way. Also, Chubb says, sadly, Randy won't be there. He's still in the basement on Roger's watch. He's trying to get him to come over. F the Dodgers, Tamir says, also, Trent and Roger can fuck off those fake-ass sports voices. Nothing worse than a team sports radio station not only allowing the fans. Exactly. Because on this network, people, by the fans, for the fans is a moniker. That's what we live by. Also, Rendon sucks. Steve Lee says, Demetro says, at Todd, I have tickets for the 19th. I will see you there. I will see you there too, my friend. We have to have a beer. Jay says, sad that KLAA doesn't let us talk like Rory used to. Any criticism is bad media publicity for Artie Pants. Yeah, he can't stand it. Good point. Vetter says, Todd, I started talking to this girl on Friday, and since we have not lost, everyone can thank me. She also hates the Dodgers. She might be the one. Yay. Yeah. Eric says, don't stop talking to her. Yeah, I think that's very good right there. Keep it going. Also, Mike Trout says, better don't stop talking to her. Halo Joe says, I will give you $26 for that shirt, Todd. Deal. Also, if we get Arenado for third base and Vladdy Jr. for first base, more quality pitchers, we would be a greater team. We have an underdog team right now, and I would love to see this team secure those wins. And just think about this. We will have Joyce closing it out. We will have, I doubt Jansen comes back next year, but if you get to 81 wins, players aren't stupid. They're going to see that this team is finally turning the corner, and you will have players that will give it a shot to come here. So we'll see what happens. Let's see, Vetter lying like Big 20. Robot Aid says trade for John Soto, not Juan. I hate Roger Lodge. By the way, we might take one phone call maybe, and because what we're going to do, we got the memo, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a surprise guest, towards the end of the show, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, just to get it in there. And then once I get the phones up, which will likely be around the homestand because we're lagging it a little bit here. So I apologize for that. But once that happens, we're going to do some rapid fire phone calls, meaning you guys can call our toll-free number. You can get on here and just say what you got to say, jump on. And see, when is the hotline coming up again? You might as well have the Obama phone they give free to the homeless. Yeah, you know what? It's I'm still trying to work out the right system that works with StreamYard. That's the whole issue. I've tried 3 different services and they don't really work with StreamYard. With Skype going away for regular normies and you not having a business account where the business account is really not worth it in the end. Again, that would put us further in the red. Doesn't make sense. The Skype personal was free and it was easy. Now they're charging up the ass. So, we're going to need a different service, and I was trying to get a Google phone going. That I think would be the best bet, but I'm trying to figure out the bugs because we're having sound issues. I don't want it to suck either. So that's the thing. Because at least with Skype, when you guys called in, it was picture perfect, and you could hear it really good. We had pretty good audio. So with that being said, we're gonna try, and like I said, we're gonna do it. Rally Chris says tomorrow's game forecast isn't looking good. Don't know if we'll play. Tyler says, has Marsha gotten a hold of one of those torpedo bats? Not that I know of. And then thanks again, another MVP move right here by Boo Boo Bear's mama. Another super sticker. We love that right there. Joshua says, let's go Ducks. Boo Boo Bear's mama says, love supporting the show. We thank you so much for what you do. Also, we've had other contributors in here. Mateo, a few others have contributed, Tyler, a bunch of you guys. And we really appreciate that. Like I said, we'll have the shirts on Shopify and everything right there. Now we got someone here that came on. This is Erica Weston's Eye. Live from St. Louis. How are you doing?
Hey there, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you? It's the first time we've seen eye to eye of you.
Oh, just got that one right now. That was a good one.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is your show.
I was just going to say, a lot of people were shooting for that eye earlier, so you made it happen.
Tell me about it. My nickname in the bedroom is Mr. Money Shot. Ooh.
What's up with the ooh? I like that new, like bizarre.
That's just every time I give you that little punchy, I give you a ooh. The other night, the other eye got the money shot, and I was but the spectator. Oh, there's another one.
Well, you got an eye for these jokes.
I sure do. All my friends tell me I can list them all for you. Let me just look up my contacts. Ooh, that's another one.
By the way, Ryan Gosling says, I miss Alex Curry. We miss her as well.
Tell Ryan Gosling I loved him in Deadpool. It's a great movie. Fantastic.
Oh, man. So
anyway, Todd, I just wanted to call and tell you how much I appreciate your show and all the lovely things you bring for all of us Angels fans.
Well, thank you. I mean, you keep doing your thing on the road, and we'll keep noticing that wandering eye of Erica's.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you ever pass by her, just look to her left. You'll see one of her eyes just turn over and look away. That would be me.
Okay. Hey, by the way, she's got a wandering eye because she doesn't have that ring anymore. So she's on the look.
Oh, tell me about it. If I could name all the furry beasts that's been banging her in the last 2 months, I have a whole new list of contacts. Ooh, there it is again.
We are never having her on this show. It's a guarantee.
Oh, Todd, if you saw what I saw, let me tell you.
Okay, Erica's eye. You have a good night in St. Louis. I know it's late over there. It's about 11, right? So
yeah, it's time for me to get some shut-eye. Oh, there's another one.
Take the red eye to sleep.
Oh, hey. Now you're getting me excited, Todd. You're making the grain of rice move.
Okay. Have a good night, Erica's eye.
Good night, everybody, and go Angels.
There you go. That's Erica Weston's eye. If you don't know the joke behind that, do your research. It's rather funny. Bees won tonight, 15-1. 15-1. Just Neto went 1 for 6. Kingery went 5 for 6. Erica sounds different from last year. Jay says, when is the OC vibe vibing? I bet Artie is pissed losing that project. Yeah, that's publicly funded, or not publicly funded, privately funded by the San Lucians, the Ducks owners. So that's pretty cool right there. That will be done next year. Let's see. Also, wrong Ryan right there. I miss Curry's tatas. Chubb says, just saw the report. Neto is starting his rehab. Could be back sooner than expected. This team will be rolling when he comes back. Here's my thing on that real quick. If Neto gets it going, I believe that, if he comes up here, he's obviously going to be a little rusty. But if Trout can continue this, because last year, 10 home runs, 14 RBIs, barely batting 220 wasn't helping the team. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't sound right, but he has 4 RBIs right now. Sacrifice flies are huge. That double, 2-run double, huge. He needs to keep doing stuff like that, getting hits, moving guys over, stuff like that. That's productive. The home runs are going to come. I'm not worried about that. The hits will come. Mike Trout needs to keep playing like this for right now. Limit the strikeouts. And if he's making contact like this, those are productive outs. The runs will score. The Ohapis scare me right now because we need his bat to get going. Soler will eventually get going. You get him and Ohapi getting a little bit consistent, getting Trout consistent. Neto starts to find a groove. You sprinkle that in with some Kyron Paris, an improvement of Joe Adell, a good hitting April here by Taylor Ward. They're not going to beat everybody, but they will be in every game, giving you a chance to win every night. And that's all you want. That's all you want. And with a young, inexperienced bullpen, and somewhat good rotation, you have a chance. And there's going to be nights where the offense has to pick up the defense. Now, last year, real quick, the pitching by the Angels was not getting picked up by the hitting. The hitting let down the pitching more times than not last year. And I think this year you're going to get a little give and take, where it's not over when it's 4-0 in the first inning, where maybe you have a chance to peck away at that lead, get a run here, get a run there. all of a sudden put up a crooked number, and guess what? You're in the lead. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm very, very, very bullish about this team moving forward. And like I said at the beginning of the show, let's take it one game at a time, like Boo Boo Bear's mama said, and let's go 1-0. Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens tomorrow, whether we can get the game in or not. Rally Chris is a meteorologist and saying it's not going to rain, or that it's going to rain. So we'll see. Let's see. Tyler says, keep Marcia and the eye away from Paris. We need to help him keep hitting. Eric Ward says she's still wearing her ring. Oh, I was told she wasn't. Let's see. Grill has a chance with Erica. Now I get the reference. When Neto comes back, who's going to get sent down? That's the big question. Jay says, now I got to check on Erica's eye. What the fuck, bro? Pour some that tea. Michael says, does anyone know if they're going to try to do a facial recognition crap at Angel Stadium? Yes, they are. You'll see a lot of that again this year. You won't see the kiss cam anymore because they don't want to misgender anybody. They don't want to push daughter with father or mother with son. That's happened a few times. So yeah, and Newman needs to get sent down, but he won't because these guys are on 1-year deals. They're veterans. They have no options. The only guy who has an option, believe it or not, is Kyron Paris. So, and you don't want to send that dude down. There's nothing for him to prove right now in AAA. So there's got to be one hell of a tough decision to be made. Do we see the first DFA of the regular season? Do we see that? Because what if they just decide to give up on a Newman? What if they decide to give up on what's his name? I'm blanking his name, the shortstop from Chicago. What if they just decide to do that? I mean, they possibly could. So we'll see. Damn, that's like an entire state of California fell out of the coconut tree. That's true. Also, let's see what else. Let me pick up his name. Tim Anderson. Yeah, Tim Anderson. Thanks, Rally Chris. So there you go. Mario says, I want to stay positive, but as long as number 6 is around, something bad is going to happen. He's like the bad juju. The only good thing is he's nowhere close to the dugout, nowhere close to the locker room. So with that being said, I'm going to play you a quick round of commercials right here before we get out of here. This is our sponsors. Please support them. Again, Bruheim has drink specials. You go to them when we're not even there, and you can say, Halos in the Infield sent me, and they will give you 10% off their beers. Also, you can go to 714 Tickets and put in the promo code HITI, get 15% off of your, 10% off of your tickets, and then you also get 5% off your next, going towards your next purchase. So you have that. And then OC Dugout too, mention us, and they might hook you up with a little something. If you have memorabilia that you would love to get signed. They also have people that come down there, sports figures. They're going to have Dennis Rodman. They're going to have Zach Neto later in the year. A lot of players are going to be coming through the OC Dugout to get autograph signings, so you can join in on that. You can buy merchandise there or sell yours. They buy and sell and trade right there. So that being said, here's the commercials real quick, and then we'll jump right back into your final comments before we get out of here.
Brought to you by 714 Tickets in Anaheim, your trusted source for Angels tickets at unbeatable prices with no hidden fees. Whether it's home or away, they've got your seat covered. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue, Anaheim, or online at 714tickets.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your purchase. And Bruheim, Anaheim's premier craft brewery, pouring fresh, locally brewed beers in a welcoming atmosphere for Angels fans and beer lovers alike. Stop by their tap room at 1931 East Right Circle, Anaheim, or check them out at bruheim.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your tab. The OC Dugout, your one-stop shop for officially licensed Angels memorabilia, custom jersey framing, and exclusive autograph signings with your favorite players. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street, Anaheim, or online at theocdugout.com. Support the businesses that support Halos in the infield.
So with that being said, thank you for sticking through the commercials. For tomorrow's game, Coming from Busch Stadium, it is a 10:15 start tomorrow in the morning. This one's going to be against our favorite Coochie, Yasei Kukuchi. I'll say that right at some point this year. He's 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA, 5 hits and 5 strikeouts through 6 innings. He allowed 1 home run in his first start in Chicago. So they have that. Sonny Gray is 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA in 5 innings pitched. He had 4 hits and 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. He allowed 1 home run. Those are your probables for tomorrow. Tickets going as low as $3. So if you're in the St. Louis area, $3 is not bad. Super sticker from Tyler. Thank you so much right there, Rendon. Breaking news, Rally Chris says that he just fell down the steps. Matt Theis checks in with, I hate this White Sox team, Todd. Can I come back to the Angels? You guys are great. Nevin! Also, Todd said, favorite Coochie. Let's see if Coochie can go the distance. Let's see if he can. So with that being said, everybody, I appreciate every last one of you as we blew through all the freaking comments. We got some nice contributions from Tyler and from Boo Boo Bear's mommy. We thank you, everybody, for being on here. We had a record number of people on X and here on YouTube. So if you can, give us a like, a subscribe, a heart, or whatever, a thumbs up. It all helps the algorithm. Tell a friend about the Angels and tell a friend about us. Halos in the Infield is your one-stop shop. And to get discounts on things around the OC, keeping it real, keeping it close into the city, and also having a good time with other fellow Angel fans. Last comment right here, besides Eric Ward saying, out of here, Matt Theis says, Todd, what is Papa Fox dad talking about? Trout sex. I don't get it. Because Matt Theis, he has a theory on why Mike Trout has not been playing good. He puts it back to him getting married, and he has the reverse, because usually all guys know before you're married, you have a ton of sex. Well, that's usually how it goes because you're dating, you're seeing other women, or the woman that's trying to lock you down or you're trying to lock down is obviously putting out more than she would once that ring is on the finger. So his is opposite. His is like, well, he has 2 kids now, 2 sons, and he must be having too much sex. It's throwing off his ability to hit the ball. It's taking his aggression away. So his theory is too much sex. And Trout he says, ever since he got married, he hasn't been the same. He's been injured. So there you go. Mike Trout says, I don't have sex anymore. Well, maybe it's a reverse curse. Matt Theis says, I have sex too much, and that's why I'm always high. Well, he probably forgets about it, too. See, you got the players. See, where else are you going to get players arguing with each other about how much sex they do and they don't get? That's awesome. So for Todd Fox and everybody on the Halos of the Infield Network, we love you all. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And again, I will be on much later than the game final because I work. I'm not a former UCLA grad who lives with his grandma and can get on, or his mom, in the basement and, honks his honk more than anybody. I have to make a living for my family, so I will be on. So trust. I will be on after the game at some point tomorrow, probably around 5 or 6. So we'll see. I'll shoot something out on social media, and then hopefully some of you can join me tomorrow, and we're hopefully talking about a sweep. Who would have thought that? So with that being said, good night, everybody.